Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are exploring something that honestly feels straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening right now. Artificial intelligence is actually learning to decode human thoughts. We're going to look at this from a broad, multidisciplinary perspective, exploring how the realms of neuroscience, computer science, and psychology are colliding in some truly unprecedented ways.
So, let's just dive right into it. Can artificial intelligence actually read your mind? Well, the short answer is yes, but it's happening in two very distinct ways. On one hand, you have the medical sector using advanced sensors to physically read brainwaves, and on the other, you've got big tech using vast oceans of personal data to read, predict, and even influence our thoughts without ever touching our heads.
There's this great quote from Charlotte Bronte. "The human heart has hidden treasures, in secret kept, in silent sealed." For over 200,000 years, human history has operated on one fundamental rule. The mind was our ultimate private sanctuary. Whatever was locked inside your head belonged to you alone. But today, that barrier between our inner thoughts and the outside world is rapidly dissolving.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the illusion of mental privacy. Then, we'll cover decoding brains for medicine, followed by big tech and digital alchemy. After that, we'll weigh commercial interests against medical care and finally wrap up with tech progress and human dignity.
All right, Section 1, the illusion of mental privacy. Is it fading?
Here's the crucial point. AI's pattern recognition abilities have advanced massively. Just think about how AI learned to spot a single face in a million photos. Well, it has now learned to spot the unique electrical or data-driven signature of a single thought in an absolute sea of noise. Signals that were previously way too messy and complex for human neurologists or even data analysts to decode are now easily translated by machine learning algorithms.
Moving on to Section 2, decoding brains for medicine. This is all about healing with AI.
Now, in medical research, AI is literally doing miraculous things. Take fMRI scanners, for example. These track oxygen-carrying blood flow in the brain. Researchers at the University of Texas are currently using fMRI combined with AI to decode the gist of stories people are listening to, or even just imagining in their heads. The AI connects the sequence of words to the unique physical fingerprint of brain activity that the thought produces. It's wild.
Then you've got EEG. This uses small sensors on the scalp to measure electrical waves from firing neurons. Historically, these signals change thousands of times per second and are incredibly hard for doctors to interpret quickly. But today, AI startups like Pyramidal are feeding massive amounts of this raw brainwave data into algorithms to instantly spot seizures or brain hemorrhages in the ICU, saving crucial time and absolutely saving lives.
Now, there is a really interesting statistic to highlight here, a massive 97%. To put that into perspective, there's a guy named Casey, a father in his 40s, suffering from ALS. He's completely paralyzed and unable to speak. Surgeons place tiny chips in his brain. When Casey thinks of words, the AI listens to his neurons firing and translates his thoughts into speech, cloned in his own pre-illness voice with 97% accuracy. He is having conversations again, purely through thought.
The medical applications across physical and behavioral health are just staggering. AI is restoring speech to paralyzed stroke patients. It's providing real-time triage in neuro-ICUs. It's analyzing digital and physical biomarkers for the early detection of Alzheimer's. And in behavioral health, emotionally adaptive virtual reality is being used for PTSD therapy, literally sensing a patient's stress levels and adjusting the therapeutic environment in real time. It's giving a voice to the voiceless and proactive care to those who need it most.
Which brings us to Section 3, big tech and digital alchemy, reading minds via data.
Here is the wild part. Silicon Valley doesn't actually need to scan your physical brain because they're already reading your mind through your data. These companies operate as persuasive technology platforms. They use sophisticated algorithms to extract attention and modulate behavior. Tactics like the infinite scroll completely remove natural stopping cues. Pull to refresh acts exactly like a slot machine. Notifications are engineered to hijack our evolutionary survival instincts, drawing our attention to potential dangers or rewards. By analyzing our digital exhaust, our clicks, pauses, and keystrokes, they predict and influence our moods and actions with shocking accuracy.
Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris hit the nail on the head here. He notes that the advertising business model creates a race to the bottom of the brainstem. There is a massive asymmetry of power going on. You are just one individual trying to exercise self-control, and on the other end is an AI supercomputer calculating the exact psychological vulnerabilities needed to keep you scrolling.
And the numbers brilliantly illustrate the real-world impact of these algorithms. As platforms evolve to capture attention through social validation, like filters and likes, the whole shebang, we saw a mass shift in mental health. As noted in the sources, high depressive symptoms for teen girls suddenly rose 170% between 2010 and 2017, which aligns closely with the mass adoption of these highly optimized, algorithmically driven social environments.
Let's pivot to Section 4, Commercial Interests versus Medical Care, Clashing Paradigms.
We're seeing a direct clash between two entirely different worlds here. On one side, medical AI is built around healing, restoring human autonomy, and it's governed by strict patient consent laws like HIPAA. On the flip side, big tech AI is driven by surveillance capitalism and wealth generation, where the core business model relies on uncovering and exploiting human behavioral weaknesses to sell targeted ads. One aims to liberate the mind, the other kinda aims to hurt it.
Finally, Section 5, Tech Progress and Human Dignity.
Where exactly is this all heading?
Looking at the near future, we're going to see this crazy blending of medical benefits with massive privacy risks. Take consumer EEG headbands, great for monitoring stress in real time, but they give corporations direct access to your raw brain data. VR therapies and AI chatbots will offer incredibly personalized 24/7 mental health coaching, but they also open the door to algorithmic bias and unprecedented data privacy leaks. The boundary between clinical tools and consumer tracking is getting super blurry.
The overarching concern highlighted in our sources is this concept of surveillance capitalism. It's an economic system that treats our private, deeply human experiences, our thoughts, our emotions, our daily behaviors, as free, raw material. This material is fed into data factories to create predictive products. And the real danger here? It's that humans are no longer treated as individuals with free will, but as a mass of users to be predicted, coaxed, and ultimately controlled.
I want to leave you to ponder this final, highly provocative thought from our sources. As AI gets better at decoding the physical biology of our brains and the digital footprint of our behaviors, we really have to ask, if we cannot be alone in our own thoughts, are we alone at all? The technology to unlock the human mind is already here. The question now is whether we will use it to heal our minds or allow it to exploit them. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.